I guess I can't hit this on here.
Not at the moment. Anyway, texting. Hey, surprise. Happy Sunday night in the set.
Back to back.
Back to back. It's been a while. Been a minute. But we went back in time last night. We time traveled.
We time traveled for the first time in history.
Yeah, I think we did.
A podcast time
traveled.
In real time.
Yes. We did. We did that. And,
on camera.
So we gained an hour's sleep. I know you're all happy about that. Welcome to IDD. I don't disagree. That is the redoubtable one himself, Tom Izzo. With the Slick Giants football jersey. Looking pretty sharp. Looking pretty sharp over there. I am the highly questionable one, Abe. Well, tonight it's Abe Froman. You all know him as the Sausage King of Chicago. I am the highly questionable one, RJ Miliaccio. The sausage king of Chicago. That line never gets old. When he looks at him, and then Ferris Bueller goes, "Yeah, that's me."
If you're my age and you don't know what he's talking about, just raise your hand.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Watch it stoned.
I've watched it.
You haven't watched it stoned.
That's accurate.
I'm just saying. That gets it's funny when you're not. When it is, you're gonna be pissing yourself.
I don't know why I never loved it. My sisters loved that movie.
Well, you didn't understand Mia Sarah, the girlfriend.
I wasn't. I didn't really like art when I was a child.
Cameron's priceless.
Art in the form of music, movies. Yeah. When I was young, I didn't appreciate it.
Well, these things change with time.
That's right.
Anyway, we are doing a Sunday football recap because after what happened down in Tampa today, are you really surprised we're here? Look, we're going to not start with that one. We're going to save that one for a little bit, unless you'd like to.
After what happened in Tampa?
Tampa, yeah, Tampa. That guy again, that man, the real bad man.
Oh.
The real bad man.
That's why we're recording?
The real bad man who threw today for a milestone, 100,000 yards.
That was a lot.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. 100.
But that's not why we're recording tonight.
No, it's really not. It's not.
That's a footnote.
That's quite a footnote, though.
Oh, I mean,
it's never been done.
Yeah, it's the biggest footnote you'll ever have.
It's a size 13.
100,000
yards passing. just throw 100,000 yards. It's like it's not even. It's like I don't even know. You know.
That's nuts.
It's and the best thing about it is, technically he threw the game-winning touchdown twice. But the first time it got dropped.
So 100,000 yards is 10 football fields 1,000 times.
Yes.
All right?
Roughly.
I'm not doing... What do you mean roughly?
Roughly.
How's that roughly?
Well, not all fields are turf. They're not all
Shut the fuck up.
It's grass.
I'm talking about the yardage.
I know what it is. 100, I know.
Not roughly, though, right?
No, you're right.
Because...
I was being sarcastic.
Okay. 10 football fields 1,000 times is 100,000.
100,000.
Doesn't seem like that much when you say it the way I was saying it.
No, but when you look at the number, it's daunting. It's just...
it's obviously a lot.
It's never been done before.
Who was closest?
How many
Drew
times
Brees?
have we... 86,000. He's 14,000.
Oh, man.
So if Drew Brees came back, he'd have to play for at least 3 seasons to catch him. Full seasons.
I guess I could see maybe... I could see Danny Jones maybe getting there.
Well, if he ever gets a receiver. But anyway,
McCorkle will see him in the Hall of Fame.
I hope that you were watching today. There was a lot. Look, so we were just talking about before we went on the air. 7 games were decided by 1 score or less today. I mean, this is why we love the NFL and we love parity because this is what and teams came back like the Jaguars who were left for dead, get off the mat, come back from 17 out, stun the Raiders. I'll tell you what, Josh McDaniels is on alert. He's on
the Raiders.
The Raiders can't keep blowing leads.
They run out to leads and then they usher the team back in.
You can't keep doing this. At some point, it falls in the coaching because it's one thing to make a mistake once, but when something is a pattern here, this is the worst of all patterns.
Unfortunately, I haven't watched. Well, I guess it's been
seen a couple
bad defense. Yeah,
I mean
against the Cardinals,
but it's not a ton of points.
Remember the Cardinals?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not a ton of points?
Well, these aren't like 38, 35, or 45, 48.
No, but they give
24 to 20.
But they give like back-to-back scores at the end of the game.
It's incredible how they do this. I mean, it's I've never seen anything like it. In fact, football's never seen anything like that either. They're the first team to do this in a season, and there's still 9 games to go, boys and girls.
They're 0 for 5 in single possession games or something like that.
Yeah,
I
believe it's
thing
over.
is.
I think you're right. Yeah, and I mean
that's bad.
My cousin John, who he's going to blame me for this. At the beginning of the season, I thought they were going to win the division because they had made the playoffs and they added
the Raiders.
the best receiver in football, who, by the way, for a half today played like the best receiver in football. 7 catches, 142 in one half. In one half, he did this. And after last week when he was targeted 5 times, still can't understand that one. But anyway, he was the best receiver in football again for a half today. And the second half, he had 1 catch. I don't understand that. He was targeted 8 times. Wasn't anything look his way. But I didn't see that game because I was too busy watching.
Thrown into coverage.
I was too busy watching Tampa Tom. He's not Tampa Tom to me. He's known as GOAT to me because he'll always be a Patriot. But
God.
he is. But anyway, the bottom line is with him. It's amazing how, and you see, there's still people dumb enough out there to write him off. There's still people that know the resume and know what happens when you try to write him off. Okay, they've worked with people this stupid, and you think they learn from their stupid colleagues, but clearly they don't. Because here we are. We're sitting here, and he texted me. He knew I was probably doing jumping around when Brady did that.
No, I don't. And that's not why I texted you.
I know. You don't care about that.
I didn't realize that you really root for him like that.
He's my favorite athlete since Larry Bird. Why wouldn't I root for him like that?
I mean, I understand you being like, I understand you're rooting for him, but like being happy about it doesn't make sense.
When
to
a
me.
guy who was picked 199 turns into the GOAT, and he does it on your watch and takes your doormat of a team to all-time great status, you owe that man for the rest of your life because he brought a joy. Yes, you do. Because you know what? this team, all it did was lose.
No, I understand rooting for him.
He changed everything.
To me, it's
Tom Brady changed
I can't
everything.
imagine getting
and today,
joy out of it the way I get joy out of seeing my team win.
Today on NFL Countdown, the blonde there, what's her name, who thinks she's slick. I like her, but she isn't as smart as she thinks she is. Sitting there going, wouldn't a mobile quarterback solve these problems? Like trying to say Tom's old. Tom was sacked 1 time today.
Why was she saying that?
Because she thinks that he's done. He's washed up. She thinks it doesn't matter. I said, sweetheart, you clearly are a millennial because you don't know who the hell you're talking about.
You know what, sweetheart?
You don't. You know what?
No,
you should just sit there and give out the candy and the cigarettes and put the little. You should not talk football because to say that about Tom Brady, it's just.
All right, let's not talk about Tom Brady.
I know all night long. The GOAT. Period. Moving on.
Yeah,
what did you now? You said something to me before we went on the air, and I wanted you to elaborate this. We talked about this, how more games are won and lost. But he literally was like, "Dude, most of these were lost today."
You're very right. You're very right.
Most of them were lost today, and I was like, yeah, a lot of them were, but they were still. I mean, but this is what happens about.
They were great games.
They were great games, but this is what we talked about this last night about how it's so hard to get 11 guys to do the right thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's so hard to do that. Okay, and all it takes is one guy, and everything. And this is what makes football so amazing.
Sometimes it's a lot of guys.
Sometimes it's a lot of guys. Sometimes they're all
blow it.
Yeah,
I mean, I know I couldn't do it any better. Don't get me wrong, but there are some major mistakes at the end of these games that literally. The Falcons game to me was the craziest one.
Share, for those who didn't see it.
Well, it was just a strange game because the Falcons came out, boom, 10-0.
Yeah, it was quite.
And then all of a sudden the Chargers was like, oh, it's 14-10. Mm-hmm. And so it was like all those points scored, in the first 2 quarters. And then the game was tied at 17, I believe, in the fourth quarter.
It was.
And there was a couple just crazy plays where Eckler almost went down. Mm-hmm. They didn't think he went down. He got up and ran for 37. It was called back. Yeah. There was just a lot of nutty plays. Mm-hmm. But then I think it was a minute to go, San Diego's, or L.A., not San Diego.
We all do it.
Last night.
Dude, everybody does it. It's not your fault.
All right, the Chargers.
It'll always be San Diego to me. I'm sorry.
So it's tied at 17. The Chargers are at the 22-yard line, I believe it was, with a minute left. Eckler has the ball and barely fumbles. And I believe it was Abraham, big D lineman for Atlanta, picks the ball up, runs 20 yards the other way, which, is great. Mm-hmm. But while running, he just drops the ball. Mm-hmm. Untouched. He didn't even bang it into, his hip. Sometimes guys are running and, they hit their leg with it. He's just running and the ball just went bloop.
Just came out on its own. Nobody hit it.
And San Diego got the ball back.
Yeah.
Which now they're basically out of field goal range.
Yeah.
But it should be Atlanta's ball going down to kick the field goal.
Yeah.
And this was after Drake London, I believe his name was, caught the ball on like the 8-yard line and let Khalil Mack just rip it out of his hands and run the other way for 30 yards. Did you see that?
I did.
That might have been in the first half.
I believe it was.
Like,
I think it was,
so when I looked at just those plays, and Mariota missed Kyle Pitts for an easy touchdown.
I missed that one. How open was Kyle?
He was really
wide open.
So, he did like I don't know, he put like a jab step and then a go on somebody.
Okay.
And the DB or the safety froze, and he just shot off behind him.
Yeah.
And he was 5 yards past him, and Mariota threw the ball 10 yards past him. And I was just like, oh, my God. Like, even a poor throw would have been a 30-yard play.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
this is the thing about it's so hard. And, and this is where, Brady would say this every week, and people would just look at him like, but it's true.
Brady said this?
Brady would say this when he was paid. He's like, it's a pro. He said one day to a guy, do you know how hard it is to get 11 people to do the right thing at the right time all the time? Yeah. And he just looked at the reporter, and the reporter, I forget what his name was, but she just froze. Because first of all, she's never played football. He's like, you know how hard it is to get 11 people on the same page to do the right thing at the same time? And just stared at her. And she didn't answer. And he just and he could have let her have it, but he didn't. He was like, that's my point.
Let it.
No, he said,
do you know?
No, he could have said, see that? Right? But he didn't do that because he's Tom Brady. But the question was valid. Because it's this, and you're starting to see, because you're really watching these now, you're kind of looking for the game within the game, but you're starting to see how much of this actually happens. And it's like, there's guys off the ball doing shit that God knows what they're doing, but because you don't see all 11 guys in every play. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you don't know what's going on off the ball. But this is why it's so hard to win in that sport, and that's why when you win a game, that's why you need a week to recover. It's just like you need. If you win, if you lose, you have to get over it fast. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard because you only got 17 of them. You got 82 games or 162 games to get it right. You got 17 games. Yeah. And guys are getting hurt, and you got to plug in another guy and get that 11 done. Oh man. Hardest sport to win at. It really is. Because it's just crazy. So much. When you think about what that entails, it is literally the hardest sport to win at.
But then, so I didn't finish. But
no, please do. I'm sorry.
The Chargers ended up, once the D lineman dropped the ball, Chargers get it.
Why did he do that?
He's a big, clumsy guy, I guess.
Why would you pick? Was he trying to run the clock? Was he trying to run the clock out?
No, it was a tie game.
All right, did he think it was a fumble? Like, did he legitimately think it was a fumble? He's picking up running, he was going to score?
What are you talking about?
The guy who picked up the ball and ran with it for Atlanta. Was it a dead ball when he did it?
No, he picked up a fumble.
Okay, so it was a fumble.
Eckler fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
And this big guy picks it up, runs 20 yards, but while he's running, he just dropped the ball.
He dropped the ball.
Right. But now the possession goes back to the Chargers because they picked it up.
Oh, he fumbled after he...
So he picked up a fumble and then fumbled.
And then he fumbled. I didn't hear that part.
But so
but he was doing the right... Like, he could do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a dead ball. I'm like, what are you running off with the fucking ball for?
Okay. No. The Chargers were going in for the game-ending field goal. Yeah. It's 17-all.
So Atlanta has the ball.
No, the Chargers have the ball.
No, but Atlanta has the ball.
So the Chargers are going in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eckler fumbles. Mm-hmm. Now, Atlanta has the ball. They pick it up, and we're going the other way.
Yeah.
And now Atlanta's going to be the one that's going to get a field goal.
Yeah.
This guy drops the fucking ball. For no reason.
Nobody hit him, right?
Nobody hit him. He just, he lost it. Chargers get it back. So I think the Chargers defense has got to be in shock, right? Probably. So now the Chargers, instead of being at the 22, they're backed up to their 42.
Ugh.
But first play, boom, like 18 or 20 yards.
Yeah.
And then they end the game with a field goal. And it's just like they were showing the defensive lineman who did it on the sideline. And he's just kind of like standing there dumbfounded. And I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
Because he didn't mean to drop it.
No, of course not. No. I mean, this is the thing, but this is where...
But mistakes happen.
Of course it does. Yeah. And I mean...
It just sucks. I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, and this is why... But again, he's making the effort, just...
Right. He just messed up.
But this is the thing about the NFL. This is why we love it. This is why we watch it. We get ready Sunday morning. I put my stupid shirt on, which is behind me. God love you, Troy Brown. Because you know there's a better than 50% chance you're going to see some things today that you're not going to believe. You're just not. Okay, and then you're going to look back and you're going to realize how tough it is to win at that sport and the commitment these guys make every single. Never mind the fact that they're dropping like flies. Yeah. It's a game of attrition more than anything else because you're going to lose guys.
I will say this though. Mm-hmm. Transitioning to another game that I believe was lost that you and I talked about.
Yes.
Washington lost that game.
I wanted to talk about this because,
I'm going to throw something out there though.
Okay.
And Taylor Heineke was a big part of why they lost, but I will still take him every day over Carson Wentz.
Oh hell yeah!
Like there are some things he does where you're just like, dude, why did you do that?
Yeah.
But then sometimes as you're saying that, he makes an amazing play.
Yeah.
Like you're like, don't throw that. It's like the guy who shoots 3-pointers from half court, and you go, what are you doing? And then it goes in. Yeah. You know, like Taylor Heineke is a highlight reel of shit like that, where you're like, dude, take the fucking sack, and then he throws like a 40-yard bomb into quadruple coverage, and somebody scores, and you're like, all right, that was good. That was good. I'm glad you didn't take the sack.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
But you'd rather that
because the one thing. Here's why I love him.
He's fun
because he goes for it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Taylor Heineke does not play not to lose. Let's be clear on something. That's why I love him. And by the way, he'd
rather lose.
He'd rather lose trying to win than play the pussyfoot thing. Right. That would drive him up a wall. Yeah. A guy like that, no, I want the ball. I'm going for it. That's who he is. And by the way, the Commanders need that now more than ever.
Yeah, they do.
You really do because you want your leader like that because people follow people like that. They're more inclined to, okay, because that kid's not afraid. And you know what? He'll shake it off and he'll come back and he'll try and win next week. And he didn't give a damn what the record is. He's going to keep fighting. Dude, that kid doesn't understand.
And the tough part about that game, though, is even though he made some real bad throws, he made some great throws, too.
He also did, yeah. I mean, we'll only hear about the bad ones.
But what happened is the defense stood up until the end, and they gave up late, I guess it was 3 late scores because wasn't it 2 touchdowns?
It was 17-7 Redskins.
Right, and they won 20-17.
Yeah,
so
they look like.
They gave up a score and 2 field goals.
Yep, a touchdown, 2 field goals in the last quarter.
Yeah, that was
that
turnover
that he had was
I know. And then on the next play was that the wheel route to Dalvin Cook.
Yes, it was. And so
look, they played defense so well that whole game. But Dalvin Cook had nothing the whole game.
But this is where
the fourth quarter,
and this is why people that talk about some of these other quarterbacks. And they don't understand how the importance of not giving your opponent a short field to work with. That changes everything, especially in a 1-score game. It changes everything.
The crazy part was on that pick, though. Yeah. It wasn't even like it wasn't a bad decision.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's being pressured. He just fucking he lofted it.
He lofted it
right into the guy. I mean, like it wasn't a great play by the defense.
Yeah.
But they got like a 20-yard return out of
it. So and with a young quarterback, because he's still young. This kid's not a 35-year-old veteran. Yeah. These are mistakes you've got to allow to happen because that's how he grows. Yeah. He's never been consistently in that role to grow. Yeah. So and Peyton Manning his first year threw 28 picks. Okay, if the Colts coaching staff was a bunch of morons, there would have never been a Peyton Manning. Okay,
did they ever run the ball?
Yeah, they had Edgerrin James, and they had the first.
And he still had 28 picks.
28 picks. Well, for his rookie year, I don't know that veteran came on.
That's what I'm saying.
Year.
I wonder.
I think he got him the next year.
They must have been down every game, and he was just.
He threw 28 picks his rookie season. Okay, but because they knew what he could be. You got to let quarterbacks develop and go through that. You know how hard it is to read an NFL defense?
Let them bloom.
You know how hard it is to be able to look, and that takes years to master. And you've got to be in the same offense. You've got to have the same. All these things have to be in place to help you succeed. And if they don't, this is the truth. More quarterbacks are destroyed than made in the NFL.
More difficult. Reading an NFL defense or reading hieroglyphics.
Reading NFL defenses.
More difficult than hieroglyphics.
Because hieroglyphics are there and they're going to stay. They're not going to change. Once they're on the wall, they're going to change. Whatever it is what it is. You have to figure it out. And NFL defense is going to look a certain way before the ball is hiked, and it's going to look a certain way after the ball is hiked. It's not going to be the same fucking thing. That there makes it harder. Never mind the fact, while you're trying to figure out that fucking hieroglyphic, there's 4 guys trying to rip your fucking head off. Maybe 5. So you have to do it in about 3 or 4 seconds.
So you're telling me somebody that can read hieroglyphics is not as smart as
I'm telling you, you have all day to sit there and stare at hieroglyphics trying to figure it out without Aaron Donald breathing down your neck.
Well, you can watch video.
You can learn hieroglyphics. And
you can learn NFL defense.
Yeah, but not in the comfort and safety of your own home.
Yes, you can.
You have to be on the field.
You can put the Oculus on. Be like Connor.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the commander could drop Connor into that huddle tomorrow and he'd throw 4 touchdowns. But anyway, the bottom line is that the toughest position in all sports is quarterback.
And I'll tell you what.
It is, and for millions of reasons.
Taylor Heineke outplayed another quarterback that you love today.
He did outplay him.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he did. And Aaron Rodgers.
Whoa.
Bob, we got to talk about his girlfriend, by the way.
Who's his girlfriend?
This is her name. Her first name, I think. Her name is Blue of the Earth. That's her fucking name.
Who is she?
If you Google this woman, it explains so much.
You don't like her name?
Blue, I love her name. But I'm just thinking, I'm trying to figure out when
she sounds like a hippie.
She sounds like a hippie. Some people call her a demon witch.
Oh. Why?
Which I don't, well, go.
That sounds like a hippie name.
Read about her.
Blue of the Earth.
Blue of the Earth.
She looks like a hippie.
Yeah. What were her parents smoking? I know, I've seen her. I've been looking at her all day. Trying to figure out what the hell is this woman and why.
What the hell is this woman?
What is Blue of the Earth? What the fuck is that? Blue of the Earth.
She's blue of the earth.
She's blue of the earth.
She's like.
Is that like the whole?
She's like one with the earth.
I guess my question is that just her first name or is that her whole name?
Dude,
that's my question.
This person is. No,
First
I think.
Off, is it blue or of the earth?
Of the is her middle name.
And then Earth is her last name?
Yes. We should make fun of people's names.
I don't know what to make of it. Is that her first name?
I don't fucking know.
That's what I'm saying.
You told me about her.
Well, what do you think? She's cute.
Yeah,
she's attractive.
She's very pretty.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Huh?
I didn't say she wasn't attractive. I'm just trying to figure out why everyone's blaming her for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I thought you were blaming her for Aaron Rodgers.
No, I didn't know.
You said, have you seen his new girlfriend?
I just said,
I think we know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on, but Blue of the Earth, what does she do for
Did he
work?
meet her on the ayahuasca trip?
That's another question. Where did they meet? I don't know. I didn't look up where they were.
Didn't he say something about like having his dead ancestors like touching him while he was tripping or something?
Look, if I ever get to that point, just push me off the nearest cliff. Okay.
This is hilarious. I just found something that said 4 facts about Aaron Rodgers' girlfriend, Blue of the Earth.
Okay, what are they?
Can you believe that people cover shit like that?
Yes, and they get paid to do it.
Because idiots like us are looking at it.
Right. Are you not at least a bit intrigued by that name?
Not
Blue of the Earth?
mean,
that you've never heard of
her birth name isn't Blue.
Of course it isn't.
Rodgers, well, I'm reading this out loud. I don't even know if this is right. It says that her birth name was Charlotte Brereton.
Charlotte Brereton.
Charlotte Brereton. At some point, she changed it to Bleu.
Bleu.
But people began calling her Bleu of the Earth because of her Instagram handle. Oh, that's her Instagram handle.
Okay. All right. Well, all I had to go on was Blue of the Earth. No one explained it. Blue of the Earth.
Yeah, so I don't know if she's the cause of this, but
I don't.
Here's the crazy part. There was a couple of picks. His first pick in the red zone, he threw it off a D lineman's helmet. Potentially his own O lineman's too.
I think it might have been his own lineman.
So I mean, he threw the ball into a lineman. Let's just say
into his head.
And then they went over to the sidelines and showed him sitting there, and he was yelling. Who's he yelling at?
I don't know. I didn't see. I saw the pick.
You wanted your receiver to what? Like rip that lineman's head off so that it's not there? And
was he yelling at a receiver?
He was just kind of yelling like, what the, like, and it seemed to be like external, focused towards an external force.
Yeah.
And then another one he threw was, an O lineman came in as eligible. Eligible to catch the ball.
Yeah.
And pretended to block for a second. The O lineman shifted the other way. The O lineman went out that way.
Yeah.
And Rodgers didn't get enough on the ball. and the D end had time to go backwards and intercept it in the end zone.
Yeah, he was...
those were on him.
He was uncharacteristically bad today, and the thing that was scary about this was he was playing against arguably the worst defense in the NFL.
That's what they kept saying on that game.
That is the worst defense in the NFL in a long time. They can't stop a nosebleed. They're the definition of can't stop a nosebleed. And they rattled this guy, not just any guy, one of the greats that's ever done this. Made him look like a rookie. He really did. I mean, this is the thing. He didn't look like Aaron Rodgers I know. In fact, I thought this was the game. I said last night that I thought Detroit could win this game because of their offense, but I figured at the end he'd probably figure out a way to pull it out because he's Aaron Rodgers. I didn't know he'd be the reason they lost. He was the reason they lost today. And he doesn't have...
Because, I mean, their D wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. They only gave up 15 points.
Especially as much as it was on the field.
The D wasn't... the D gave up 15 points on the road. If you told me before the game they're going to hold the home team to 15 points, not a coach, I'd take that all day.
And the Lions typically score.
The Lions offense is one of was top 5 in terms of yards, so they moved the ball.
Although I think Jared Goff has...
What?
Seems to have regressed a little bit. But maybe he was getting pressured today. I don't know. I saw him a couple times today not look very good.
He, by the way, second quarter score, Tennessee 14, Kansas City 9, 5:24 to go in the half. We have another Donnie.
With Malik Davis at QB.
I told you this kid
I'm surprised by that. You did say that.
This kid is good.
Is he, though?
He's played one game. No, I said he has talent. I don't know how good he is yet, but I know he has talent.
You just said
he's good. If you have talent, that equates to good. If you have no talent, you better have. No, but in most cases, when you have nothing else to, I saw him in 2 preseason games. He could throw it. He could run it. He could roll out and throw on the run. He looked like he would go through his reads. He knew when to time. I mean, he was an exciting player to watch in preseason.
In today's NFL, if you have those 2 skill sets, you can be like you can hold your own.
Your coach is smart enough to use those assets.
Right, use it.
You can be a very important piece to a winning team. You can be. So, yes.
That's another thing.
Absolutely.
I think the Bears have finally started to use Justin Fields as a runner.
Well, they have.
Or maybe they're just telling him, look,
the first one was
it's okay to run.
We were talking about who was it before? It was we were just talking about it.
About what?
What's his name?
Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. What I wanted to say, what I was trying to look at, was because the thing about what happened today, what threw me, was that he looked confused. Aaron Rodgers rarely looks confused. Okay, there are a couple of defenses I've seen do it to him, but most of the time, you can't confuse Aaron Rodgers. And the last team on this earth I thought would be the one that confused him is the Detroit Lions, they're the worst defense I've seen in quite a long time, at least 5 years. Okay, so for that to happen, I'm trying to figure out how did he even get in this? Where in the first place where he was forcing these throws because it felt like he was under pressure to score. These were forced throws. I mean, they ran for 100 yards. I mean, 4 yards a carry, so they ran the ball decently.
He said, "Can't lose a game like that against that team."
Yeah.
So he doesn't take the Lions seriously.
No, he does not. And why would he? Goff threw 14 for 26, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Not great, not terrible.
Yeah, it's just kind of blah.
Yeah, blah.
You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. Blah. He's just kind of there. But, I mean, the point is that they, and we said Detroit's been in a lot of games this year.
They have.
They have. So they could easily have a different record.
Yeah.
So for them to finally get one, kudos to them.
Detroit's only 2-6. God. And Green Bay's 3-6.
There's 9 games to go. Oof. There's still 9 games to go. Okay, yeah. Well, 9 or 8 depending on when your bye week happens. So I mean, the thing is, a lot can happen in 9 games, and the NFC to me is wide open after.
Yeah, I don't think anything. Do you think anything is locked in yet?
Other than Philly, no.
That's the only one. Let's look right now at what I would say who would be in the playoffs right now.
Well, Minnesota is 7-1, so probably
that's what I'm saying. Let's look at everyone who's in right now.
What I can do is hold on. I can have the.
I should be able to pull the standings up.
I've got it right here. What I can tell you is, all right, so as of right now, as we stand,
and then we can kind of see, like, okay, what are our predictions? Do you think it'll stay like this, or will it be different?
You want to start in the NFC or the AFC? NFC?
Let's start NFC.
Okay, so now again, the first 4 are division leaders, and then they have the other 3. Okay?
Yes.
So forget the records. This is 1 through 7 right now.
Okay.
So, number 1, obviously, everyone knows Philly. Number 2, Minnesota. Number 3, Seattle at 6-3. Okay, number 4, Tampa, because they are now technically leading the NFC South. Because they beat Atlanta head-to-head. They were the same record.
Okay, so those are the 4.
Those are the 4. Then
say the 4 again.
Number 1, Philly. Number 2, Minnesota. Number 3, Seattle. Number 4, Tampa Bay.
Damn.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, here's where it gets interesting.
But isn't there a 3-way tie in the South?
Yeah, no, there's a 2-way tie. Atlanta and
just Atlanta and
because
what if the Saints win tomorrow night?
They're 3-6. They'd be 3-5. There'd be a 3-way tie
if they win
tomorrow night. They're playing Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah.
So I mean, hey, there you go. But the point is, then 5 through 7, 5 Dallas 6-2, 6 the G-Men at 6-2. Okay, and 7 San Francisco 4-4, who just added. That's a pretty awesome 7. Given where we thought this season started, this didn't look like this. This actually looks pretty damn good. Actually, I'm surprised. And Seattle is one reason why. They've been a very pleasant surprise. The Giants are another. Okay, I thought the Giants would be competitive. I did not think the Giants were going to be 6-2. I thought they might be around 5. I thought they might be around 500.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Okay,
agreed.
But 6-2. Okay, and their losses are at Seattle and home to Dallas, who's right with them in the state. I mean, so those aren't bad losses.
Yeah.
And the Dallas game, they had a chance to win.
Although the fact that they didn't beat Dallas with Cooper Rush hurts them.
Well, but here's the thing.
It hurts a little bit of their credibility.
The Giants, I don't think at that point kind of understood what they were doing. Meaning, I don't think they believed what was happening. It was like, I think now they realize they're good. And believe it or not, I think when they play Dallas in Dallas, they're going to give them a run for their money down there.
I hope so.
I really do, because they can run the ball, and Dallas has a problem against the run, and the Giants know it.
Yeah, they need to be able to run against Dallas because last time Dallas was all over them. Mm-hmm. Their D-line.
Yep, they got it. But the thing is, you got to get some help on the outside. They got to find. They got to develop somebody, because if Dallas knows they can put 8 in the box. Yeah. You got to get them out of that defense somehow.
Well, when they had Slayton going, they brought in this rookie, Wan'Dale Robinson, and the young tight end Bellinger. I think he's a rookie too.
I think,
when they were spreading the ball using those 3 guys, and maybe Galladay comes back and he's actually...
Galladay has talent. This isn't about he doesn't have any talent. When is he going to...
Be healthy
enough and play, because he never can seem to stay healthy.
Yeah.
So to me, he's got
back
talent.
If he comes back after the bye and can actually play,
this is the thing. It's going to be very interesting to see, because they have 2 weeks off. They're in the middle of their bye. What they're going to look like next Sunday. Yeah. I'm curious to see what that passing attack is going to look like. Because honestly, the Giants are a passing attack away from being a very, very, very serious contender. They can run it and they can stop the run. Both those things travel.
They can't stop the run.
They now have a quarter. Actually, they were in the top 10 against the run.
They are.
They are.
They've gotten gashed a couple times.
Dallas. That's one of the teams that have gashed them have been top 5, top 10 rushing teams. So that's not that big of a deal.
Them.
Baltimore is a top 10 rushing team. In fact, they were number 1 last year until everybody got hurt. So there's no shame in that. Those are teams that run the ball well. That's their strength. Yeah. So to me, the thing is, they're good against the run. Not great, but they're good. And they are the number 2 rushing attack in the league. And their quarterback is not turning the ball over.
And he's mobile.
He's a threat in the run game,
which
gives them a very unique dimension. That's not every quarterback runs. Herbert doesn't run. Stafford doesn't run. Brady doesn't run. A lot of quarterbacks don't run. Okay, so even Tua Tagovailoa, he's not really much of a runner, even though he's mobile.
Yeah, okay, I saw him try to get around the corner today.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's not that fast.
He's not that fast. So bottom line is there's still a lot of quarterbacks that are pocket passers, for lack of a better term.
Okay, but before we get too far away from this, let's think about each division and say, okay, do you think it's going to be different at the end of the season?
Well, all right, let me go back to we didn't do we'll do the AFC next.
You got any, we got to stay in the NFC.
Stay in the NFC for now. Let me go back to the regular. Of course I do. What kind of question is that?
Because, okay, so I'm going to say right now in the NFC East, I think the Eagles will still be in first.
Yeah,
I think that's very obvious.
Yep. I honestly don't think it's going to change.
Yeah, because of how far people are away.
Yeah, I don't think...
Like Minnesota in the North right now...
Minnesota has a 3.5 game lead.
Over who? Chicago?
Chicago and Green Bay are both 3-6. Detroit's now 2-6.
And Minnesota is what? 7
Minnesota is 7-1.
7-1. Yeah. They would have to just choke it all away to not finish in first right now.
Which, by the way, I wouldn't put past Kirk Cousins.
Oh, you like that?
I've seen him do it.
You like that?
I've seen him do it.
No, you know that's like his thing. You like that?
Kirk Cousins.
Did you know that?
I don't like you, Kirk.
It's like
you are the rip. Talk about a guy who's ripped people off. You know how much money this guy's made to be average, slightly above average.
Dude, you don't know that you like that?
I didn't know.
It's like his coin thing because one time he led the Redskins on a comeback, and as he was walking in the locker room, he yelled at some TV personality who was shitting on him.
Yeah,
he was like, "You like that?" Oh. And that became this whole big thing. So like, every time Kirk Cousins is on TV, the announcers always say, "Oh yeah, this was on this day 5 years ago. This is when Kirk Cousins said, do you like that?"
He fleeced Daniel Snyder out of hundreds of millions.
Dude, did you know today was his first time back at FedEx?
Yeah.
Since leaving?
Yeah, and he didn't play. He didn't play great.
Dude, they almost hurt him.
They should have lost that game. The Redskins. The Commanders lost that game.
They did.
They lost that game. I saw that game. I was going back, and they led most of the game. They did.
17-7 in the fourth quarter.
You don't blow a 10-point lead at home in the fourth quarter.
They should have started running the damn ball more.
Yep. And with a 10-point lead, why wouldn't you?
Heineke threw that bad. But at the same time, that's also on Heineke too, because it was just a terrible throw.
It was an awful throw. It was a bad throw at the wrong time. He was a reason that one of the reasons was. He's got to do better than that. But again, a lot of that's youth.
Oops.
So
this wasn't.
What's happening?
Oh, jeez.
What? Don't worry about it. I didn't see it. No one saw it. Anyways, the point is, I think in the NFC East, you're right. It's not going to change. No. I don't think I don't think the North is going to change. I can't see Minnesota blowing it unless there's an injury.
At 7-1,
7-1.
If they go 500 for the rest of the way.
The thing is, right? I think Chicago's a bigger threat to them than Green Bay is.
Well, yeah.
I think they are.
If you watch those two games today. Yeah. Green Bay and Chicago both lost, but what team would you rather be?
Chicago lost to Miami, who is a legit threat in the AFC.
Barely lost to them.
Barely lost to them.
Did you see how that game ended? There was a bad no-call pass interference.
On Miami?
Yes. That would have put them in field goal range.
Was it? It was blatant?
Blatant. Dude, really? Arms around him,
You'd think at home they'd get that call.
I know.
That's weird.
It looked beautiful in Chicago today. Every time I saw that game, I thought it was in Miami because of the sun at Soldier Field.
Well, they look at the Bears have been they blew the Patriots out in New England. They played Miami very, very tough.
They played a lot of games.
They're not they beat San Francisco. They are not a bad football team. Again, I know you are what your record says you are. I'm not arguing that, but them and Detroit both I think are better than their records.
So you said they're 3-5 right
3-6, same record as the Packers, and.
So I don't think they're not going to factor into anything, but they could hurt some teams.
They could ruin a few seasons.
Yeah.
And again, there's 9 games to go.
Yeah.
Or 8 games. That's half a season. There's still half a season to go.
I just don't see the Bears finishing above 500.
I think you take out the top. Again, man, there's 7 teams that make the playoffs. You take out the top 4. Let's say the top 4 stay the same and win their division. Okay.
Who's leading the West right now? Seattle.
Seattle is 6-3. Okay.
And who's closest to them?
San Francisco is 4-4. The Rams are fading. The Cardinals are fading.
So Seattle is 6-3.
And San Fran's 4-4.
4-4. God, what's wrong with them? They lost to the Bears. That was a bad loss.
They lost in Chicago in a quagmire. That was the game where it was raining sideways and you couldn't do anything.
So maybe that wasn't that bad.
I don't think it was that bad of a loss because no one could do it.
They lost to Denver too, right? 11-10.
They lost at Denver 11-10.
God, that's a bad.
Denver's D though is really good.
Bad loss.
Denver's D is first of all, it's tough to win in Mile High. I don't care who you are. Number one, number two, they have a top 5 defense.
I just feel like
losing
the
in
Niners
Denver
are better than both the Bears and the Broncos, and they lost to both of them.
I will agree with. Well, they lost in Denver though.
I know.
Both losses were on the road. If they play at a neutral site, you're right.
Yeah.
I think they beat them both. But you go look at. I said this to you before. But the teams at home in the NFL are 10 points better. I don't give a shit who it is. They're all 10 points better at home. They just are. Yeah. And if you look at the scores of those games, they played out that way.
Unless you're talking about the Commanders.
The Commanders are 10 points worse.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's
I feel like Dallas isn't as good as Dallas.
See, Denver gets a 10-point off because or Washington because of their owner. He's a curse. And when he sells this team, I got news for you. You watch how fast everything changes when that dickhead gets rid of that team. Finally, when they get him out of the league.
It sounds like the whole culture in that organization is
he needs
terrible.
He needs to go. He needed to go 5 years ago. Okay, he has held that organization back, and everything that they are is because of him, and are not is because of him. And there are some very good players on that team. They've got a coach that knows how to win. He's not always right, but he's a good coach. They need stability at the top.
Ron Rivera?
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's not a great coach, but he's a good coach. There are some bad coaches out there, Josh McDaniels.
Do you like Riverboat Ron? That's what they call him. He's a gambler.
They used to call Brett Favre the Riverboat Gambler. The gunslinger. It was Madden. I used to call him the Riverboat Bung. I used to call him the Riverboat Bunghole. I used to call Brett Favre.
All right, so
because Brett Favre would always throw that pick at the wrong time.
So here's the thing. I think there could be some order change in those last three teams in the NFC
4
East.
through 7 is very interesting. Because if you
but
look,
not that because okay, I think Dallas will still be the top wild card team.
Yes, I would. Yeah.
But I do think there's a possibility that the Niners could go in front of the Giants.
The Niners have to. All right. Well, the Niners right now are 2 games back of the Giants.
I'm just saying that's possible. But I think all 3 of them will make the playoffs.
Now, here's the funny part. Right now, the 7th seed all by themselves is the Niners. 2 teams are a half a game back. Do you know who those 2 teams are?
Washington
is one of them, and the Falcons are the other. The 2, they're only a half game out of the 7th spot.
That's why that's such a bad loss for Washington.
Yeah,
they'd
be in.
God,
they'd be the 6th. Yeah,
they had battled back to what 4-4.
4-4. And then they lost. They lost that tough one. And again, they lost to a 7-1 football team.
I know. I give them credit.
It wasn't like they lost to us. If that was Detroit, I'd be bullshit. Or like Carolina.
Right.
Okay, but Minnesota is.
They're a good team.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
I mean, so who's
even
been good
though
on
you
there?
were shitting on them.
I was shitting on
them
because
I was telling you the Vikings have been good.
Because if you look at the Minnesota's wins.
No, I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about when. Before the season, like you were shitting on Minnesota in terms of.
Because I said that the guy that will prevent them from being great is the quarterback.
But they're still a tough team to beat.
They've always been a tough team to beat. But they never get over the hump because of their quarterback. Okay? And I don't think that's going to change. You watch. When push comes to shove, you watch what this guy does because that's his track record.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and the shame, if you're a Vikings fan, is that. By the way, that tight end they added, 9 catches, 8. They used him today.
From Detroit.
Yeah, that kid's good. Their offense just got better. He's got no excuse. The Vikings have enough talent on offense to go to the Super Bowl.
Dude, they have an elite receiver, an elite running back.
They have 2 elite receivers. Thalen's a stud too.
That's true.
But
Justin Jefferson is.
He's maybe the best.
Right.
He's right there.
Like he is.
It's him, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp.
Right. The
he's
3
in that
elite receivers.
He's one of them.
And then anybody else.
Tyreek Hill is like 4.
Yeah.
And listen,
true.
I'm with you on
Tyreek Hill is unreal.
Tyreek Hill's unreal. And so the bottom line is, Minnesota has a guy like that.
Brown.
Stephon Diggs. There's a lot of them.
There is a group of elite receivers.
Yeah, they're all elite. The top 10 in this league are all pro caliber receivers. They are. Okay, so the top 10, maybe even deeper than that. It's a deep position.
And then you think about the 3 on the Giants, those top 10.
Oh, the 3 amigos? Yeah, what do we call them?
They are not in the top 10.
They're more the 3 question marks.
I shouldn't disparage my guys.
The 3, thing 1, thing 2, and thing 3.
We're talking about all pro receivers, and you go to the Giants, and everybody's like, "Who's playing today?"
Yeah, who's Danny Dimes throwing to?
Right.
I mean, but anyway, the bottom line is, I think you're right about this. But the Giants, look at the Redskins are not out of this, and their schedule is easy.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking though.
They're not out of it.
What do you think's going to change? I know we can't predict, but just take a guess.
I have to lean towards the Niners because their defense, and they added McCaffrey.
So
the Niners to me have the highest. The Niners can catch the Cowboys. They're only 2 games back of them. I understand Dallas can lose games. Dallas doesn't have a cupcake schedule.
But their defense is so good.
But you can run on them. A lot of teams have run on them. Teams that give them fits and teams that run on them.
I didn't know that.
You can run on them. Look at the best way to be able to negate speed, because fast teams don't tend to be big. Big teams don't tend to run right at them and blow them off the ball. Size does still matter. Okay? Yeah. And if they're small and quick, well, use that against them. Yeah. Don't get into a track meet with a fat.
Their D-line isn't that small.
No, it's quick. They want to pin their ears back and go.
Well, what
they don't want to do?
Micah Parsons is he's the linchpin.
He's the linchpin. But what they don't want to do is they don't want to get into a game where the team is going to carry the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
Because they're going to wear them down. Okay, it's tough to pass rush when you're gassed. Because that's the other thing. You're on the field a lot.
Okay, so you're saying you think the Niners will overtake
I think
not only the Giants but also the Cowboys.
I think they can.
I'm not asking.
You're asking me to make a prediction?
No, like take a guess, and then we'll come back and we'll look.
I think that those three teams are going to all get in.
That's what I think.
What their position is, I don't know, because I don't know what their schedule is.
Take a guess.
I don't want to guess wrong. If I look at the schedule, I'd probably give you a different answer.
Who cares about guessing wrong?
The schedule to me changes everything. I think it does. I will say this: the Cowboys, I think, are in the tougher division. The Giants are going to give them fits. The Eagles are certainly the Eagles. And guess what? The Commanders are not a bad football team. They're not a bad
tough football team.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah. The Cowboys are going to have a tougher road than the 49ers will because the Rams are fading. The Rams have one weapon.
God, what happened to them?
They have one weapon. They have not developed the other guy that came in who was supposed to be. It's Allen Robinson, by the way, is his name. You were right about that.
Yeah.
They give Robinson up. They ran the ball today for 68 yards. Now Tampa actually. By the way, Tampa defense showed up today. They did. They did. For the first time in 3 weeks, there was a pulse. They looked like the defense.
I almost sat them.
I mean, you're lucky you did. But
I almost sat them because I was like, I don't want you to minus me right now.
Yeah.
I didn't want Cooper Kupp to. And the play they gave up to Kupp is just like.
How does he run down the seam? How does Cooper Kupp? It's like Devontae Adams running down, or Jefferson. How does a guy that you know is that good running free? The only guy you got in the case of the Rams, the only guy you got to worry about is he's running right down the middle of the field and just everybody waves at him as he goes. I mean, I don't get it. I'll never get it. And it's not the first time he's done this to this team. It's like they forget about him. Like how you stop him, you stop them. It's just that simple. And they only gave up 13 points.
Right.
I mean,
and that was all on one play.
It was one play.
One play.
It was one ridiculous play. So, I mean, the point is, if Tampa's defense stays the way they're capable of, the Tampa is the biggest threat to everybody because they have you give Tom Brady enough chances.
Yeah. So my only thing is, I wonder how much of that today was just the Rams are completely lost for some reason.
If you
know what I'm saying? Like Tampa's defense really back to what we think they are.
Well, Cooper Kupp still got his. So they didn't stop him per se. They stopped everybody else. They did. And they sacked Stafford 4 times. Brady was only sacked once. Okay.
Brady doesn't hold the ball.
And it was Aaron Donald who got him. And no, but this is what Brady does. Why I keep saying he's not done because he still has his wits about him.
Yeah,
and he knows if I get the ball if I get the ball another 3 seconds, I can protect my line. And here was the cool thing about what he did today. He used 9 receivers. He got everybody. The tight end caught the game-winning touchdown. He went to him. He got Scotty Miller back involved. He dropped the gimme that he should have caught, but he went back to him because that's
that might be one of the worst drops I've seen in a long time.
That was bad.
The Scotty Miller drop.
That was bad. I can't believe Tom Brady didn't kill him. I probably would have killed him.
Yeah. He was very calm sitting on the sideline. As
I was shocked
when the Rams were trying to run the clock out, and he was talking to his offensive
Brady was unbelievably calm.
Yeah,
but that's why
he's been a dick the past few weeks.
But you know what though? He had a right to be a dick because the same problems were still there. They still couldn't run the damn ball. 51 yards rushing. The same problems are still there.
But he was being a little bit of a brat.
He's not a brat. He's the GOAT.
He was being a little bit of a brat for a couple weeks.
Why?
I like the fact that he was more composed this week, and I think it served him well.
First of all, if you're...
I'm not saying he doesn't have the real estate to be that. He's earned it.
He's earned it.
I'm just saying.
And by the way, he doesn't do it that way.
I thought I was just saying, past couple weeks, he's been a little bratty.
Well, would you be a little bratty if you lost 3 in a row? And guys are dropping touchdowns, and your wife leaves you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying he wasn't justified in being bratty. I'm saying he was being bratty. He
wasn't bratty. He's upset.
He was bratty.
No, bratty is being upset about something you don't know.
Tom Brady.
No.
That was him past 2 weeks, maybe 3. Look, just let me fucking say it and stop getting so defensive about your man.
You're wrong.
Tom was a little bratty for a couple weeks. I like the fact that he was completely composed tonight, and I think it served him well, and that's one of the reasons his team came through for him.
Okay, let me tell you why you're dead wrong.
Tom Brady.
You know why he's not a brat? Because here's what being a brat is. A brat is when you're upset about something that you really don't need to be upset about. He's a father, I'm a father. We go through this every damn day with our kids. We know what a brat.
Aaron Rodgers was bratty
we know what a brat is.
Kyler Murray, bratty.
I didn't see Kyler Murray. I'm saying Tom Brady.
He's bratty.
Tom Brady has guys that have talent. See, in Aaron's case, there's no talent out there. Now, that's partially his fault, okay? But there's no talent out there. Let's be honest. The Green Bay Packers, they're one step above.
Scotty Miller is the same as what
Scotty Miller's better than Aaron Rodgers has.
No, I don't agree.
Oh, really? Who's better on that?
Lazard.
What's Lazard ever done? The best year he's ever had is 500 yards receiving.
Is Scotty Miller have a lot of big...
Scotty Miller is behind two Hall of Famers. And Godwin and Evans. They're both
right, but what has he done, though?
Aaron Lazard, it's him. What has he done? He caught the game-winning... He caught a touchdown in the NFC title game in Green Bay, by the way, at the end of the first half. That's what he did. He caught that
I remember that pass.
Okay, then. So it's like he can't
but
play.
I mean, I'm not saying... I'm just saying, like, to me, they're both throwing to, like,
Mike Evans is not And
is he even healthy?
Yeah, he's the one but he's getting old. You can tell he's
Were they in there tonight?
Yeah. Mike Evans had 2 drops today. Bad ones.
Right. They don't look like they don't look like elite receivers.
Not right now they don't, which just further adds to my point about why Brady was upset. Because guys are doing things they don't normally do.
Why were you arguing with me saying that?
Because being a brat means
I'm not talking about the brat part. I'm talking about I feel like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are similar in the weapons they have right now. Neither one of them have great weapons.
Mike Evans on the Green Bay Packers.
No doubt. But Mike Evans is not the Mike Evans you're making him out to be.
But there's no Chris Godwin on the Green Bay Packers.
Neither one of them are playing well this year.
No, but they were both Pro Bowlers last year.
But they're not playing good this year.
Godwin's coming off a torn ACL.
I know, and he's not playing great.
No, not yet. But he takes a year to come back from that.
Dude, I'm not saying he should be playing better, Alpha Navies. I'm saying right now it feels like the weapons are similar.
If your wife leaves you, who you didn't want to leave you,
because changing the goddamn.
No, I'm saying you're saying he's being bratty. I'm like, no, he's not being bratty. His whole life is upside down.
Right, and he was being.
That's not being bratty. Being bratty is when your parents give you $100,000 or $100 gift and you throw it that you're like, oh, it's not the one I wanted. The color.
That's being bratty
That's being bratty.
That's being bratty too.
Being bratty. Your wife leaving
when you're
you.
on the sidelines, you're like, fucking block for me.
Your wife leaving you, and your offensive line continuing to screw up coverages and blocking assignments. That's not being bratty. They're going to get killed if they don't freaking do their job better.
And you going to a little wedding for Bobby Kraft the night before a game, that's bratty.
Why was that bratty? This guy's his friend.
Tom was being bratty.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
No, that's the wrong terminology.
I will not
let you get away with it.
He was being a little bratty.
I firmly disagree with you.
Look, all I'm saying is I believe he was being a brat.
And I believe
and
you're wrong.
He has
because your reasoning makes no sense.
He has earned the right to be a brat.
No.
I'm saying that.
He wasn't
not
being
talking
a brat.
to you right now.
I don't care if you're talking to me.
He was being bratty.
I'm hearing you.
He was being bratty.
No, he wasn't.
And this week, I thought he toned the bratness down. And he said, you know what? Look, I know we've had a hard few weeks, but we're going to win this game tonight because
I'm not going to be a brat.
Because the Rams are a sham and a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And
Aaron Donald's no sham. Aaron Donald is no fraud. And neither is Jalen Mills, and neither is Matthew Stafford, and neither is Cooper Kupp.
That team is not playing well.
No, because one, they lost Von Miller, which really hurt their pass rush. That hurt them.
He was in there.
Von Miller doesn't play for the Rams anymore.
Oh.
He's gone. That's what I'm saying. They're not. Of course, I'm arguing with the guy who said Tom Brady's being bratty. Anyway, the bottom line is,
dude, you get so panties in a bunch like he's your fucking brother.
I will defend Tom Brady. I'll be his lawyer forever.
I just said he was being a brat.
Yeah, and you were wrong about that.
I disagree.
Because the things that he was mad about aren't things that you're not bratty about. Those are real problems.
I disagree.
Really? So if your wife left you and you said, I'd be like, stop being a brat, Tom.
Yeah.
How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I am being a little bit.
No, you're not. Your wife left you. You have a right to be upset.
No, it's his fault.
It's not his fault. Why is it his fault? It takes two to fight here. It's both their fault.
He should have retired.
He shouldn't have retired. Why should he retire? He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do 17 years ago. I'm either going to play.
He's gone.
Yeah, because he was a man of his word. Here's a lesson for you guys: don't be the greatest at what you do, and walk away when you break your promise.
That's not what I'm saying. If you're going to be bratty about then you should have retired.
He's not being bratty.
If you did what you said you were going to do and she left, fuck it. What are you upset about?
Because he loves her.
That's on her.
Because he loves her.
Right, but that's on her.
That is on her because he said this. Look,
so then
I've
don't
heard
come
him
in here
say,
and be a brat and say, I lost my wife.
That's not what he said.
That's what you said.
No, he didn't say that. I'm saying
I'm talking about you.
Well, I'm not being a brat right now. I'm saying you're out of line calling him that.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Because he's dealing with real shit.
Oh, God.
Real shit. A divorce is not real shit?
Everybody's dealing with real shit.
No. My 8-year-old son crying about the color of his nunchucks is not real shit. That's being bratty. That's an example of bratty. That's what bratty means to me. It doesn't mean when your offensive line is getting you decapitated because they keep screwing up the blocking assignments after 9 weeks.
He was being bratty.
No, he wasn't. He was being being their quarterback.
He was a brat.
And their line came to his defense.
He was being a little bit of a brat.
No. A brat is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is
he was a brat today.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't understand.
And I will say
that
for the past couple weeks, Tom Brady's been a little bit
No,
of a
he
brat.
has not at all.
And
He's
today,
had every reason.
I liked
he
his
has the worst
today.
rushing attack in the league.
I liked his demeanor.
And he still has the worst rushing attack in the league.
I liked his demeanor.
Okay? Guys are dropping passes. Guys are dropping touchdowns when they're wide open.
Great. That's part of the game.
That's not bullshit.
It's part of the
when
game.
you get paid $1 million.
Do you know how hard it is
to catch a ball when
to
you're
get
wide open?
11 guys on the field to all do the right thing at the same time?
Do you know how hard it is to catch a ball and hit you right in the hands when you're wide open?
Do you know how hard it is?
It's not hard.
To get 11 guys on the field?
Yes. But I also know how easy it is to catch a ball when it hits you on the hands when you're wide open. Because I've caught a few of them. Okay?
But
and I'm telling you right now, that's
we just talked
not
about how more games are lost than won. You talked about how hard it is to get 11 people to do the right thing at the same time all at once.
Yeah.
And now you're saying the drop passes aren't part of the game?
I didn't say that. I'm saying that.
You just said that.
There's dropping a pass.
You literally just said, I said drops are part of the game, and you went, no, they're not.
No, what I said was you shouldn't drop a ball that hit you right in the hands when you're wide open.
Of course you shouldn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's not part of the game. When
Yes,
when you have a ball in your
happens.
hands and a guy knocks it away, that I get. Okay?
Dude,
if you're trying to
literally just said more games are lost than won.
Not because of drop passes.
Yes!
Offsides, turnovers.
Same shit.
No, it's not. A drop pass is not the same thing as offsides.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not?
It's something that is inexcusable. You shouldn't have it. You should never be offsides. You can look at the ball.
No, you cannot always look at the ball.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. You can't always see the ball. There are guys offsides that can't see the ball.
That's bullshit.
That's not true. There are guys that come in off the blitz on the corner and they can't see the ball and they overstep because they try to anticipate the snap count.
Okay, that's
they didn't see the
still
ball.
a mistake.
I didn't say it wasn't a mistake, but they couldn't see the ball.
Oh my God.
They couldn't see the ball. So you're saying you couldn't see the ball.
So you're saying like it's okay to
I didn't say it was
offsides?
okay. What I'm saying is they couldn't see the ball.
Okay, so that guy couldn't see the ball.
Well, that's
but a D lineman that's sitting over the center that tries to jump the snap
I am not under the delusion.
That's just as bad as a drop.
I am not under the delusion that these guys aren't human beings out there. Mistakes are going to happen. I get that, but there are mistakes that but there are mistakes that should happen or can happen. That makes sense, and there are ones that don't. And when by the way, the guys with the best hands on the team are wide receivers. Okay. And when a guy who gets paid $10 million a year to catch a ball drops a ball when it hits him right in the hands and there's no defender to knock it out of the way, that is unacceptable.
Without a doubt.
That is unacceptable.
And it's part
and
of
that's
the game.
not Tom Brady being a brat. That's unacceptable. And any quarterback worth a damn would get on that guy.
I didn't say he was a brat about that.
The guy, Mike Evans, dropped a touchdown pass in one of those games when he was blowing up at his offensive line as Brady was getting killed.
So why was he blowing up at the offensive line?
Because he'd been sacked 4 times, because they're blowing the blocking assignments. Guys are coming free like motherfuckers.
So Mike Evans
they're not
dropped
picking
the ball
up the
and
blitz.
he yells at the offensive line?
No, he didn't yet. No, that wasn't that play. I'm talking about after he got sacked on a play where they screwed up.
You're talking about different shit then.
I am, and what he's yelling at his line about was Mr. He's being bratty. Was they keep screwing up the blocking assignments?
Convince me. I think he was being.
I'm not trying to convince you. You're not going to convince me that he's being bratty.
I'm not trying to convince you.
All I'm saying is the facts are.
I'm not trying to convince you.
The stuff that he was being bratty about was stuff that everybody would be mad about because it was legitimate.
I disagree.
Being a brat is about stuff that isn't legitimate. Being upset about things that makes you a brat.
I disagree.
I don't care if you disagree. Disagree all you want.
You do care because you keep talking about it.
No, I keep talking about the fact. I'm explaining why you're wrong.
Right.
And it's not my opinion you're wrong. I'm giving you facts.
But why?
Because there are people out there that might
disagree with you.
You don't like Tom Brady, so you're going to say whatever you can. I mean,
that's not true.
You know, Tom's being a little brat today. A little bratty.
I thought he was being bratty.
You know,
it's an opinion.
We all get divorced. We all get decapitated because guys.
Why can't we move on? I agree with one way. You agree with another. Why can't we move on?
We agree to disagree.
No, we don't, because you keep going.
I don't disagree.
You don't even know what you're saying.
I don't disagree. I keep going because you're wrong.
Right, and I disagree with you.
Okay, I disagree with you. You're wrong.
Okay.
So moving on. Anyway, in the AFC,
I believe he was a brat.
And I believe you're a nut. Okay? So, anyway.
Sorry, Tom Brady.
No. Goat, it's okay, Goat. This is just a guy. Guy who would kill to have had a guy like you. I get it.
Of course.
So, all right then.
I never denied that.
And he wouldn't call you a brat if you were his quarterback. Okay, so.
Not true.
That is true. Him? Yeah, right. Okay.
Brat. I mean,
him?
You make it sound like the word brat is the worst thing.
I'm saying there are so many guys in this league that you'd be justified in saying that about. He is not one of them. He is not one of them.
I'm concerned.
Because if he was ever bratty, he wouldn't be who he is.
I would be concerned that you have a stalker.
No,
that's how hard this dude is defending you.
No, Abe Froman has a stalker.
Yeah.
Okay?
I've never seen RJ defend anyone like this.
I will
against such a timid comment like brat.
Brat is not a timid comment. You're insulting. He's immature.
Oh my God.
You are.
You are taking this so far.
No, I'm not. You took it so far when you called him a brat.
Oh
Tom was being a little bratty, and I appreciated him showing some maturity this week and not blowing up in composure. As if Tom Brady has never shown composure in 23 years.
I didn't say that either.
Well, you made it sound like it's an anomaly, like he doesn't usually do.
No, I said he did this for 2 weeks, and I like the composure this week.
He did it for 2 weeks.
I've never taken away his goatness.
No, but you're saying he was a little brat.
I'm not allowed to criticize Tom Brady, basically.
No, if he makes a bad throw, criticize the throw. If he fumbles the ball, criticize
his side.
Him being a leader and getting on his, which is what quarterbacks tend to do, is not bratty.
I disagree.
Disagree all you want. You've never been a quarterback.
Of course, either of you.
No, but my dad was.
Okay.
All right then.
My dad was too.
Yep. He wasn't.
And because of that, I know.
No, I'm saying quarterbacks, sometimes their job, they have to be like a coach on the field. And sometimes
no shit.
Well, that's all he was doing.
Who the fuck doesn't know that?
You apparently, because he was a little bratty.
He was crying like a little brat.
Oh, now there were tears.
Crying like a brat.
Did you see the box of tissues? I didn't see it. Oh, I did this morning. I did when Sean McVay.
You don't need tissues to cry.
When Sean McVay was crying after the goat, he got goated by the goat again. Yeah, like in the Super Bowl. I understand. Sean McVay earned a box of tissues today. He did. Because 9 seconds left, the season might have gone down the toilet.
I don't know.
Three and I don't know, man. A lot of hurdles.
It's a shit team.
A lot of hurdles. A lot of questions. Anyway, in the AFC right now, currently, let's do. We have Buffalo 1, Tennessee 2, Chiefs 3. Tennessee's actually 2, huh? Oh, because they have their conference record winning? Their conference record is 4-1. The Chiefs are 2-2. Baltimore 4, top 4. That's about right. They're where they should be. Would you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Say those again. I'm sorry.
Buffalo 1.
Yeah.
Tennessee 2. Kansas City 3. Baltimore 4.
Who's behind Tennessee?
The Chiefs, who are 5-2. Because right now they have the better conference record. Right now in the conference,
in the same division.
No, conference.
That's what I'm saying. Who's behind Tennessee
in the division?
In their division, yeah.
The Colts.
Oh yeah,
3-5-1. Yeah, and then Jacksonville's 3-6, and the Texans are 1-6-1. That's that division.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what was the score? Did you see the score?
It's 14-9 Tennessee.
Still.
Jeez.
In the halftime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Donnie.
Wow.
We have a Donnie, a full-blown Donnie, which is great. All right, so anyway, but now let me ask you this. All right, so here's the thing. Jamar Chase is going to be out for a while. I think another 4 weeks. So is this Baltimore's division now? Because how does Cincinnati catch them without him? Or can they?
Well, it just depends on what the schedule is. Because Cincinnati just put up 42 on
Carolina,
crappy-ass Carolina. But, I mean, they didn't need Jamar Chase to put up 42.
No, they didn't.
Not saying they'll... But my point is, if their schedule isn't too crazy, I think they're still going to be better than a lot of teams.
Okay, and here's where it gets interesting. All right, so now 5, 6, and 7 as of right now. Jets 5 with the win over Buffalo today, right? Big, probably a signature win. Miami but dude, he's 6-0. Or 5-2. 2 is 5-0 in the because he left he left it,
game,
but he left it in the second quarter. So I don't know if does that really count as first half? He got knocked out. It was a 1-point game. So I don't know if that really counts because technically he didn't lose that game. He wasn't there long enough. But they haven't lost when he's played the whole game. Put it that way. And they beat Baltimore.
Who hurt him? Was it Cleveland?
Well, he got hit twice in the same. Buffalo was the first one. And then they played Thursday night. It was Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati. That's right. Where he got whipped around and then he smacked his head off the turf. Yeah. But he's back, and they look back too. Okay, they are 6. Chargers 5-3 or 7. So what do you think about that?
I don't like the Chargers.
Why?
I don't know. Watching them play against the Falcons today, I don't know. They seem sloppy.
Well, they are sloppy because I think
they got injuries on defense.
I think their problem is the coach. He's my question mark with them. That's why, as talented as Herbert is, and they had the weapons they got, and how do you say his name? Aguilar. Eckler. He's as good as any 3-down back in the league.
Yeah, but they're struggling with their. I think Keenan Allen is out.
He's still out.
Yeah, he was out today, I believe.
Yeah. He's their number one when he's healthy. They still have Jefferson. The tight end's good.
Jefferson. Who's Jefferson?
He's on the other side there. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
I don't know those receivers.
Wait a minute. Hold on. He's tall. No, it's not Jefferson. It's with a J, though. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's not that. Wait a minute. Hold on. He is... Where is he? Here we go.
I guess the toughest part of this exercise that we're doing is trying to figure out what teams haven't played that well the first half of the year that are going to turn around and play better. Because that's really the only thing that's going to change any of this.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, schedule, to your point, will play a part in it.
Yeah, schedule
I mean, if, for example, San Diego's 5-3 right now, guess who their next 3 opponents are?
I don't know.
They're at San Francisco, KC, at Arizona, which who the hell knows?
Yeah. They should win that.
They should win that one, but they could definitely lose San Fran and KC.
Yeah. And then they're all of a sudden
5-5
back at the pack.
Then they get the Raiders, then they play Miami, then they have Miami, Tennessee back to back. They go to Indy, they got the Raiders, and then they're at Denver to close the season. So there's a few pitfalls in there.
I mean, they could finish 10-7 easy, right?
I think that I see 3 losses. I see San Francisco potentially, KC potentially,
and Tennessee.
Yeah, 3. So definitely those 3. Now,
it just seems like so many games left.
But that's the thing. Now, if we go, here's where this gets interesting. All right, so they are at 5-3. Now, that's 1 through 7. Now, here's 8 and 9. 8, New England, who we have not talked about yet. 5-4.
What's their schedule look like?
They have the second hardest schedule left.
Well, yeah, because they still got Buffalo
twice.
They got Buffalo twice. Although the Jets just showed that Buffalo, and I mean, the Dolphins had beaten them too.
The Patriots have the running game.
The Patriots are just as good as the Jets,
and they can win. Here's the thing: I'm going to say this right now, and you're going to take my head off my rocker. But the Patriots currently right now have the best defensive player in football.
Judon?
11.5 sacks, ladies and gentlemen.
You think he's better than Micah Parsons?
Yes, I do.
Damn.
Yes, I do.
Statement.
Yeah, I do.
Better than Aaron Donald?
Aaron Donald's the best player of this generation defensively. But year,
right now, I'm talking about right now.
This year, he's the best defensive player in football right now.
So he's better than Aaron Donald.
Right now, he is. Not all time, but right now, he is.
Of course not.
This year, 11.5 sacks in 9 games. Yep. And they're focusing on him because everybody knows who he is. He made the Pro Bowl.
He had 9 sacks today?
They had 9 as a team.
Yeah.
And he had 3.5. So actually, I think he has 12 sacks.
And the other guy on the other side.
The other guy had 3. Yeah. So they look.
What's his name?
But this is the thing. Here's the problem. They're playing against a backup quarterback for the second week in a row. The team's best offensive player did not play. Jonathan Taylor was out, just like Breece Hall for the Jets. So I don't. This is the thing. This is fool's gold right now. And Matt Patricia still stinks like yesterday's garbage as a play caller. He is fucking awful.
Today was bad stuff.
Oh, it was terrible. They should have put up way more.
Why?
He doesn't. Why
do you have $1 billion entity being ran by an idiot?
I have no idea why he still has a job. I don't get it.
There's got to be some good offensive minds out there.
He has no understanding of tempo, of flow, of how to use the weapons he has, how to put them in position to succeed. And there were a couple. Look, it wasn't. There was a couple of good plays in there today, but overall, no. A couple doesn't get it done. A couple ain't going to get it done against Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, any of those teams. It's not going to happen.
Okay, so who do you think's defense is better, the Jets or the Patriots?
The Patriots.
Really?
Because of Judon. Yeah, and Devin McCourty, who's borderline. Devin McCourty has played himself into a Hall of Fame. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. He's been an anchor back there for 13 years.
He's got a twin brother. Right?
Jason, who came over from Tennessee. He won a Super Bowl with us.
I know, but is he good?
Yeah, he's good, but he's not his brother. His brother's better. Devin's better. Devin's been to 5 Pro Bowls. Devin McCourty has played himself into a Hall of Fame.
Okay, so if New England's defense is better than the Jets, then y'all have the personnel to beat Buffalo.
It's not the personnel. It's the coaching.
Oh, you're talking about
Matt Patricia will be the reason this team fails.
That's sad.
It's sad, but it's reality because Bill Belichick would rather hang himself than admit he's wrong about him.
That's silly because it's not like Zach Wilson's a lot better than Mac Jones.
What sucks is I actually think Bill got the right players for this offense. They have depth. They have balance, and they can play a multitude of offenses. They can go 2 tight end. They can go 5 wide. They can go 3 wide. They can go 2 backs. They can do a lot of stuff. They have personnel to win a lot of ways. This clown has no clue how to use it.
Well, and you can't expect him to. He's not a freaking offensive coordinator.
He was a bad head coach. He was a bad defensive coordinator.
Now he's a bad.
And now he's a bad offensive coordinator.
And he's consistent though. You know what you're going to get from him.
That's what I'm afraid of. Because he's going to...
For a couple of weeks, you were giving him some credit.
He had 2... But the thing is, but that was the Lions and the
Tigers and the Bears.
They were, it wasn't 2 good teams.
Yeah.
Today, their defense dominated. They actually had a pick 6 because they wouldn't have broke 20 if it wasn't for the defense touchdown. Yeah. Your boy, Folk, they got a great... And they have great specials. Well, they have a great kicker. The punter's awful, too, by the way. This kid, he's a fucking joke. How does he have a job? He must be related to Patricia. These two... They're fucking... The punter... This is the worst punter I've ever seen in Patriots history. They usually have guys that can boot the ball. That's usually an area they're...
Is he like a 35-yard punter?
Dude,
that kind of shit?
He shanks them left. He shanks them right. He's never... This kid sucks. If you look at his averages, he's among the worst in the league. And he's still employed by the Patriots. When the guy who knows 3 phases of the game better than anyone knows this guy's going to kill you sooner or later, too.
Is this Shank Aaron?
This is Shank Aaron.
Shank Aaron.
This is Shank Aaron. That's a great name for him, Shank Aaron. Shank Aaron.
He's the Hall of Fame of Shanks.
The Patriots have the 2nd toughest schedule remaining, percentage-wise. Now, does that mean they can't win? No. But if they don't make the playoffs, it will be because of Matt Patricia or injuries, and I don't think it's going to be injuries. I think it's going to be Matt Patricia.
Okay.
So, but then you have the Bengals at 5-4. They're going to get him back at some point. Now here's the elephant in the room. What about Cleveland?
What's their record right now?
They are 3-6. They have
Are they on a bye this week?
Were they? I think they were. I'm sorry. They're 3-5. They're 3-5. They just bludgeoned Cincinnati. They bludgeoned them.
Yeah, that's I forgot about that.
And they're going to get
3-5.
They're going to get, but if they're 500 when he gets back.
So Baltimore's leading that division.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
And what's their record?
Baltimore is 5-3. They're 2 games back of Baltimore.
So you got 5-3. Then it's Cincinnati at 4-5.
5-4.
Oh, 5-4.
But they don't have Chase. Now again, they beat the Panthers today, but
I got a hard time seeing. I don't think the Browns can stay afloat.
Well, here's the thing, Jamar. You know who has the most sacks in football right now?
Browns.
No, Cincinnati. That dude, they brought in that line. He still leads the league in sacks, in the NFL in sacks. What's his name there? Burrow. Burrow might not be upright in 3 weeks.
You're talking about the offensive line.
Yeah, they're still the worst at protecting the quarterback in all of football. And now his binky's gone for a month.
His binky.
No, every quarterback has a binky, and that's okay. You got to have a binky, or you struggle.
Yeah.
Don't believe me? Talk to Danny Dimes. He'd kill for a binky right now. Okay, so I mean, but they're in that division. Okay, and that you need, and this line that they put together still is not protecting him.
Yeah, I don't know what
that's a problem. And if Cleveland,
I just think, how did Cincinnati get destroyed by them? Because of that, I guess, because Cleveland's D-line is good.
Cleveland has a good front 7. They get after the quarterback, and if you don't have that guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Then you hold the ball on for 2 more seconds. You have to, and that's what happens. Because T. Higgins is a good number 2. He's not a number 1.
It's been an hour, and I need to pee.
Yes, all right. Whew. We're going to take a break. There might be a segment 2. There might not. There will be, because we have to talk to Yoda. Anyway, we'll see you on the side. Hey, football Sunday. And we'll update you again on the Titans and the Chiefs. We got a Donnie on Sunday Night Football, so we will see you in just a few. I'm going to turn this off so you don't hear Tom doing whatever Tom's doing. See if you.